Apparently, there's a story that ran wild over the course of Saturday. There's a woman named Erica Thomas, and she's a black member of Georgia's House of Representatives. According to the New York Times, she said she had been the target of verbal harassment and had been told, go back where you came from at a grocery store near Atlanta on Friday. In a video she posted to her Facebook account, she suggested that a white man had confronted her for having too many items in the express checkout lane at a Publix grocery store in Mableton, Georgia. Here's what it sounded like when she talked about it.
I'm at the grocery store, and I'm in the aisle that says 10 items or less. Yes, I have 15 items, but I'm 9 months pregnant, and I can't stand up for long. This white man comes up to me and says, you lazy son of a bitch. You need to go back where you came from. But I couldn't get anything out. I could just tell him, please leave me alone, please. And my child is just sitting right there. He said, Mama, why would he call you that? Why would he do that? I can't even explain to her why he has so much hate in his heart.
Okay, so in a second, I'm going to explain what happened from here. Suffice it to say, it went viral, and mainly it went viral because of that one line, go back where you came from. Why? Because that echoes what President Trump had suggested about the squad, the so-called squad. So the idea is that this is creating a viral wave of racism across the country where white people are telling black people, go back where you came from. And that is the premise of this entire story. As we will see, that is not where this story ends up. That was her accusation. She said she was shocked that a white man had confronted her for having too many items in the express checkout line. She said people are getting really out of control with this white privilege. People need to see the hate that is going on in the country. The hate is real. She says she was scared to go out of the store because she thought the man was going to follow her or take out a gun. You just never know. And then the man comes out of the woodwork and he explains himself. As it turns out, he is not white. He is Cuban. He is not a Republican. He is a Democrat. And he never actually said this.
I said, ma'am, not to be rude. My exact first words, pointing at the sign, which shows it on the surveillance camera, which I've seen already. Pointing at the sign, 10 items or less. She berates me after that. I don't remember exactly what she said. She said a few words. I stated, well, you're selfish little bitch. I did say that. That's all I said after that, and I walked out of Publix. Her words stating on Twitter in her video, stating I told her she needs to go back where she came from, are untrue. I am Cuban. I am not white.
Okay, and he's a Democrat, as it turns out. So she was blatantly lying about it. And then she backed down from her own statement. So she was interviewed about this. She said, well, I don't really remember what he said exactly. He might not have said, go back home, which, of course, is the entire headline. The entire headline, like if somebody curses somebody out in a Publix checkout line, that is not a racial incident. That's somebody being a jerk, no question. That is not a racist incident at all. And if the guy is telling the truth and he said, ma'am, you're in the express line, you got 15 items, and she responded by yelling at him, then she was the one who initiated the conflict. So we don't actually know the answer to that at this point. But she herself has now admitted that he never said, go back where you came from, which, again, is the key to the story, considering the Democrats are pushing a line right now that President Trump's hatred and supposed bigotry and xenophobia, that this is causing a vast wave of outcry across the United States. Again, no evidence that this guy's even a Republican. Apparently he's a Cuban Democrat, but here she is acknowledging that she didn't tell the truth.
He said, go back, those types of words. I don't want to say he said, go back to your country or go back to where he came from, but he was making those types of references is what I remember.
Okay, so there she is, backing off her original tear-filled explanation of what happened. So the guy who was apparently involved in the incident, his name is Sparks. He told the local station, that the episode had started after he decided to say something about the number of items in her cart on the way out of the store. Thomas said in her Facebook video she had between 15 and 20 items in her cart in the express lane. Sparks said he was buying 3 items. Sparks denied being racist, said he was Cuban. He said he acknowledged she had called her lazy, but said that had been the worst of his comments. He said, this woman, Miss Thomas, is playing the victim for political purposes because she's a state legislator. I'm a Democrat. I will vote Democrat for the rest of my life. So call me whatever you want to believe. For her political purposes, make it black, white, brown, whatever. It's untrue. So this is buried at the end of a piece from the New York Times that is labeled, quote, the hate is real. Black Georgia lawmaker says she was berated at supermarket. So there's the New York Times putting out, again, what appears to be a mythical story, a hate hoax. In the New York Times, at the top of the article, she openly acknowledges that he didn't say what she originally said he said. But nonetheless, we were supposed to run with this story. Why? Because there's part of a narrative that is being built by the media that the country is endemically racist and cruel and horrible and getting worse because President Trump says bad things on Twitter. Well, now there's witness testimony as to what exactly happened in this case. This is according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Quote, a witness to a heated grocery store encounter between State Rep Erica Thomas and a man she accused of uttering racist comments told authorities she didn't hear him make those remarks, according to a Cobb County police report. A Publix employee told a Cobb County officer that she witnessed part of the conversation and heard Thomas continually tell Eric Sparks to, quote, go back where you came from, but did not hear Sparks utter those words to Thomas. So in other words, it sounds like she completely made this up. And not only did she make it up, she's the one who said this to the guy. Right? So she claimed this white man came and said, go back where you came from. And then she's weeping in the video. She's crying because how could this sort of racism and bigotry exist in America? And then a witness was like, actually, lady, you said that to him. So you got this right, but like not at all. The photo negative. The back and forth has led to new scrutiny, says the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, that mirrors the nation's political divide. Some conservatives cast Thomas as a version of Jussie Smollett. I mean, so far, that's sort of the evidence, isn't it? So all of this has fallen apart for her. It is a day of secrets revealed. It turns out that she apparently said exactly the thing, according to witness testimony, that she claims that the bad guy said.